My name is Mike Figs, and you're watching Bronx Vignettes. When I was young, it was Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy, George Carlin, Richard Pryor. My father would come home late from work, and he would put on HBO. He'd watch something, whatever, and I would always catch. He would always sometimes watch comedy shows in the background. He'd watch stand-up comedy, and mostly like whatever HBO was playing during those early '90s, which it was a lot of Carlin, it was a lot of Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy. Those are the guys getting the specials. Well, Eddie Murphy, obviously the '80s, but that shit got syndicated. They were showing that. Those classics, Delirious, Raw. So those guys definitely inspired me, because then as I got older, I used to rip their comedy specials onto CDs and listen to them before I went to bed, or while I went to bed, just because it was hilarious. I never thought I wanted to be a comedian. I just loved it. Jim Breuer, I had a CD with Jim Breuer, who was hilarious. And as I got older and I started doing stand-up, I realized that, oh, wow, this is where, when I think about a joke or when I think about something, I would do it in their voices, or that's the kind of that's what made that spark in my head. So those guys are definitely early influences. And then nowadays, I'm fortunate where I work with guys like Aaron Berg and Gino Bisconti, who are just guys who, well-known comics who just, work the comedy circle and, hustle, and they do radio shows, and they work, and they casinos all over the place. And I've been fortunate enough where they take me under their wing, and I see what it's like, and it's nothing. I'm still a baby, but, I watch them as they grow and they do their thing, and yeah, it's I feel very grateful, and they definitely influence me. They show me, because they're both opposites. One is the type of guy who goes on stage with barely any material. He's just cracking on people in the crowd, and it's just like, the way he does it. It's ridiculous. He's a master at it. And then another guy has material. He won't even mention anything about anyone in the stage. Just goes up and he's talking about the things in his head, or stuff that he wrote down, or observations. So I see the best of both worlds, and I try to take bits and pieces from both of them to try to be the best I can, a best mashup of them both. I listen to podcasts all day. I love Big J Okerson and Chris D'Elia and Joe Rogan, and who else do I love? I love Hannibal Buress is hilarious. Eric Andre is a maniac. Love Eric Andre. Bill Burr is a legend. Bill Burr, he's just brutal. He's always fucking complaining. He was fucking women. I love him. He's the best. Bill Burr is a legend. Patrice O'Neal. That was that like '90s, that early 2000 era that you would see on Comedy Central. Colin Quinn and Rich Voss and all those dudes, and that was like, that's the community. That's something else that I feel like is a main factor in a lot of art forms. Community. Getting into a community of other people who all have the same kind of desires, and kind of like linking with them in what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Not compilation. What's the word when people we unify together? We both do something. Collaboration. Oh, yeah. Collaborating. That's a key to find other people in the community that have the same kind of outlook that you have, and collaborating with them. And you see that when you look at comedy. You see, oh man, that was the Patrice O'Neal and Bill Burr era. Oh, that was fucking Pryor and Robin Williams in LA in the Comedy Store. It's crazy. But yeah, I got a lot of influences, man. I love Mike Myers, Austin Powers, man. I love to do voices. And when I watched Austin Powers, when I saw, when it was like, yeah, baby, and he was doing, Fat Bastard and all that stuff, I was doing it all day in a Catholic school to the nuns, the nuns would be like, what did you just say? Did you just say mojo? And I was like, where's my mojo, baby? And then the nuns are like, what? Like, I'm doing my work just repeating the stuff because I love the movie so much. So, yeah, man, a lot of influences, man, a lot. I hung out a lot on Kingsbridge. Kingsbridge was kind of my, I was born East 231st, White Plains Road, Carpenter Avenue. And I went to Catholic school a few blocks away. And that was kind of like the circle. I was a young kid amongst all the older guys, always cracking jokes, always making fun of me. I was the only kid with New Balance sneakers on, so I was always because I got wide feet. I'm a fat kid, so I had wide feet. They would always crack on me for that. And I had glasses. They used to call me Potter. But yo, Potter. Hated that shit. To this day, I hate Harry Potter, just because of those assholes I grew up with. And they all follow me on Instagram now. So I read The Sorcerer's Stone on paperback, and I don't know. I can never get past like 3 pages. I'm still a bad reader to this day. Like, you know, you read 1 page and then you're halfway through it and you're like, wait, what? Who the fuck is Hagrid? And you gotta go back to the beginning of the part and read it again. Like, yeah, I'm not a good reader, but I love the movies. The movies were great. I love Harry Potter movies. I love all that sci-fi stuff. But kind of ruined Potter for me because I had glasses and they would always call me Potter. Definitely I wasn't a chick magnet back then. I was an overweight kid. It was bad. Didn't have the earring or the mustache. Times have changed. Again, it's a lot changed now. You might be from the Bronx if you know what a chopped cheese is. Maybe that's too cliche. You might be from the Bronx if you hopped a train before, for sure. But also Harlem or Queens. I mean, that's you can any outer borough kid, Lower East Side kids are hopping the train too. Anybody. You might be from the Bronx. You might be from the Bronx if you played football in the streets, full-on tackle football in the streets while cars are coming, breaking windows. I must have sprained my ankle 400 times. Never caught a ball. I was always out of shape. Never good, but I loved it. Yeah, you might be from the Bronx if you played tackle football in the middle of the streets with full-blown traffic. Street football, there's 2 positions. You throw the ball, you catch the ball. Like, there is no other position. There's nothing else. You know, I was hoping, I wanted to be a lineman because then I'd be good at something. Because when I played in high school, I was a lineman. And, you know, at first I was like, I don't want to be a fucking lineman. But then, then the camaraderie playing football, you know, you're in the huddle. I was the center. The quarterback is telling me the plays. You know, the whole play starts with me. You know, so that really changed my perspective on, you know, all the parts of football and how they all are really important, even if you're from the quarterback, from the glorified quarterback to the humble, you know, left tackle or whatever. So when I played street football, I was just a kid missing catches and running into cars. But then I played football in high school and I played center, and it was awesome. I had a great time. It was fun. One of the best years of my life playing football. And the crazy thing about that, you play football in high school in the Bronx, and you're having an amazing time. It's glorified. Your family comes to watch you. You're kicking ass against other Bronx kids, and then you play some kids from like upstate, like Holy Trinity, and these kids are all 6'5", and then you realize real quick that you're not gonna be in the NFL. Like, it's not gonna happen. These are all big kids. It's like, no. The moment I played these, like, I don't know, Iowa, I played some group of kids that were a higher division, and I was like, I gotta start getting good grades because I was like, I gotta do something else. Yeah, and that's when I started acting. Let's go to chapter 2, acting. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, okay.
Inside the actor studio. And then Michael became an actor. But that was a great part of high school. Yeah. And then after football, and then I stopped playing football my junior year and graduated high schoa senior year, and actually started doing, I went to Bronx Community College, and I had a minor in acting. And that was a lot of fun. That kind of slowly brought me into the world of comedy, believe it or not.
So what was that like, acting first time?
You know, I thought I would be so great at it because I was very charismatic. My family always kind of, you know, always say, oh, Mikey, you're going to be the lawyer. You know, you're going to be a lawyer, because I was always defending people. You know, I was always making excuses. He's going to grow up to be a lawyer. He's going to be a lawyer, Mikey. You can talk yourself out of a paper bag, is what my grandma used to say to me. And I thought that it was going to be a lot easier. And then when I went to Bronx Community College, I had it was an elective acting, and I had an amazing teacher, Mr. Sokas. He was an awesome dude, and he would give me lines, and he would see that I was charismatic. He'd be like, all right, you're going to be the lead. I'll put you in the lead for this play. And then I would start reading the lines, and then I would like go in front, like he'd be like, all right, action. Like, you know, we'll start it. And then just whoop, all lines went out of my head, and I realized, wait, this is actually kind of harder, you know, than you see, and it looks on TV, and then you get the lines, and then you got to put yourself into it. And I was like, oh, this is all like a little too like cheesy, and, you know, for me. But I did it, and I had fun, and we put on a lot of plays, and I did it, and I felt like I was the man. And now I watch myself, and I'm like, oh my God, I was so bad. But it was fun. I thought I was going to be an actor for a while. I had a lot of acting books. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of plays, started doing push-ups and shit, you know, trying to get jacked. That's what I thought it was. I just got to get in shape. But meanwhile, it's like, no, it's an art form. You got to study and actually get good at it. You have to hone your craft. So we would do plays every semester, and after the play, we would do an improv show. And that was the most fun I had in college. We had a kid who was part of a short form improv team in the city, and he would teach us how to do short form improv. And after the play, we would do, like, every weekend we'd do the play, whatever. After the play, we would do a short form improv show, and then we'd invite friends and stuff. And it was basically like, whose line is it anyways? And it was the most fun. And I mean, I'm a humble guy, but I felt like I would shine during those things, and we would have so much fun. And people would, come to us after and be like, that was the funniest thing I've seen. That was so awesome. You got to do it again. And that eventually led to me doing improv in the city. I took some classes at the Pit, and that was fun, but it was different. And I wasn't a fan of it. That kind of setting was it wasn't as vulgar. Like, I don't know. It just wasn't me. So I started doing stand-up comedy right after that. I said, you know what? Fuck this. I don't want to have to rely on Becky or Joey to have to do a scene where, if I said, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm just going to go on stage and just be me. And
How old were you?
yeah. When I first started?
You made that decision. It's like, I don't need it in my solo cast. I'm proud. I want to be.
Yeah. When did I realize that I was a sociopath? When I was, I would say 21. 21, 22 is when I first said, you know what, I'm going to do stand-up. I want to try this. I took a class at Caroline's, which is kind of, people say, you took a comedy class, but whatever. I wanted to, that was a way in. It was a way in. I met so many people doing that eventually led to other gigs, and definitely was a great way of dipping my foot into the water of the comedy circle. And I did the class. It was awesome. At the end of the class, you do a graduation show where everyone comes out and they watch you. And she made me last because I was the best one in the class, according to her, the teacher at the time, Linda Smith, really nice lady. And it was great. I felt like a movie star. I felt like, oh, this is awesome. I felt like this is great. I'm going to do this. And then I learned the hard way that it was not that easy at all. And I started doing stand-up a lot, and I started bombing and doing horrible. I was so bad. I remember I met someone and I told them, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm a comic and I do stand-up at Caroline's, And they were like, oh, really? Yeah, well, why don't you come to my club, Broadway Comedy Club? Come at 11 o'clock and do a set. I was like, yeah, for sure, definitely. I had 5 minutes at the time. He's like, you do 10 minutes? I was like, yeah, I do 10 minutes. I had 5 minutes, okay? I go on stage. My 5 minutes, I did it in 1.5 minutes because the people did not think I was funny. Within a minute and 50 seconds, I went through all my material, and I was just up there just sweating. It was so bad. I bombed, ate shit. And I learned, I said, whoa, this was different. I said, the reason why I did good at that at Caroline's was because everyone came to see me. This was my friends, this was my family. I need to work on this. I need to be relatable to everyone, When I bombed for the first time, it was like, I'm the type of person where if something happens to me and I don't react the right way, I constantly relive the moment over and over again in my head. I'm like if a guy bumps me and I let it go, or like something. Let's say I get into an altercation at work, and I don't handle it well. I just go, oh, whatever, I don't stand up for myself. I constantly would dwell on it. Why didn't I say anything? Why didn't I? I'm a punk. Like I beat myself up. So when I first bombed on stage and I got off stage, I just said to myself, I'm gonna do this again and I'm gonna do it right. I'm not gonna let this happen. I was terrified. I was like, fuck, I don't want to show my face at that comedy club. I don't want to step foot on that stage again. But I said, you know what? I'm going to, because I need to redeem myself. I need to show them that I can do it. I know I can do it. I did it well at Caroline's. I did it well at the other comedy club. I made my family laugh at the dinner table or whatever. My friends say I'm funny. I know I'm funny. I said, I'm going to redeem myself. So I never wanted to quit ever. It's just you bomb and that makes you go, fuck, I got to do it better next time. So that's why most comedians will say, and I'm a nobody. I'm a young comic. Any old comic will tell you bombing is necessary. You have to bomb. It's the only way you get better. How do you develop new material? By getting on stage and trying it out and then listening to it and then go, oh shit, that worked. It worked. When I talked about the spider in the bathroom, making me drop my iPhone in the toilet, they laughed a lot when I mentioned that spider. When I dropped the iPhone in the toilet, they really didn't care about that. There might be something there with that spider, that fear of bugs. What can I think about? How do I react when I feel bugs? What's another moment when I saw a bug and I, got crazy, Huh?
Your brother.
My brother's petrified of bugs, And a funny story with me is that one time my mom, there was a bee in the car, and she jumped out of the car, closed the door. I was still in the car. She didn't realize it was childproof doors. So the bee stung me, and and I'm locked in the door screaming, "Ma!" My mother's still going like this, thinking the bee's on her. She finally realized, she opens the door. I got hit with the bee one time. The motherfucker got me. Now I translated that on stage instead of the iPhone dropping, and I make that funny. I am reenacting my mother on stage, going crazy. I got a bunch of Italian women in the crowd cracking up because they've been in that position. I just related to them. So that's the way it works. It starts off with oh man, yeah, that was really funny when I got scared with the spider and I dropped the thing. Let me go on stage and see, oh man, hey man, how you guys doing, man? Fucking, I hate bugs, whatever, hacky way you start your joke or whatever. And then you trial and error, and writing everything down. That's how I get new material. I have so much shit on my iPhone and notebooks all over my house of things that I've written down. Where one time I'm like reading and I'm like, why did I write Tim Meadows on this blank piece of paper? It just says Tim Meadows. Like, he was a great cast member on SNL. But I'm like, why the fuck did I write this? And you don't even remember, and then it'll come back. So, yeah, trial and error, and documenting everything that you think is funny, no matter what. Make it relatable. Funny story. I used to work at Red Lobster, and I met Tracy Morgan. And a sea of people. I was a host. Sea of people coming in. We were booked, man. 45-minute wait. It was Times Square, Red Lobster. Everybody was going crazy. But it was like, man, I want to get in. I need to see. We're like, relax. I see Tracy Morgan walking in. Bad bitch behind him. Beautiful, tall Asian girl holding his hand. Gorgeous. He walks in, and I'm like, that's Tracy Morgan. And this is like, I've always loved comedy. I wasn't a comedian at this point. I think I was trying to be an actor. I was doing the improv shows or whatever. And Tracy Morgan walks in, and I see him, and he kind of just like looks at me like that, and I just go, and I grabbed him. I said, Tracy, how you doing? Tracy, we have your seat ready. Like, just completely, I didn't even know he was coming. I was like, we got your seat ready, Tracy, come with me. I take Tracy into the elevator. He's like, thank you so much. He's like, you knew I was coming, right? And this is a horrible Tracy Morgan impression. And I was like, yeah, I got you. He's like, yeah, because I called earlier. They told you that I was going to come. And I was like, yeah. I sit him down. He goes, thank you so much. I go, Tracy, let me ask you a question. He goes, man, I want to be a comedian. I want to be a funny person. What do I have to do? He said, I'll tell you, this is what Tracy, he said, this is what Eddie Murphy told me. He said, you got to make anything funny. Anything. If you could make anything funny, you could be a comedian. He said, you see this apple? He said, make that funny. And I was like, okay. He was like, no, make it funny. I was like, an apple's a fat apple. And he was like, there you go. He's like, that wasn't funny. Get my waiter, but there you go. And I was like, all right. So I took the apple. He had an apple on him. It was mad weird. I took the apple, and I got the waiter, and I was like, oh, shit. And then as I got older, and I started doing stand-up, and I just told you that story about the fucking spider, that the iPhone didn't resonate, but me being stuck in the car resonated with other people. I just made that moment funny. So if you can make any moment funny, doesn't matter what it is, if you believe in it, it may not be funny right away, but if you can make it funny, that's the goal. Make everything funny. By Tracy Morgan. Said by Tracy Morgan. So yeah, that was a cool moment. When I make an audience laugh, it's a high that I cannot find in any other shape or form. When something hits and everyone laughs, I feel like I'm liked, and it's a great feeling to feel like, oh man, everybody's on my side. Maybe this is wrong for me to say that every comic wants to feel like this, so I'll just say me. I want to be liked always. I walk down the street and I just want everyone to like me. And it's a bad thing, because you also have to have the mentality, like, I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to be me. And I'm right in between that. I don't care, but I also care a little too much. So when I'm on stage and I make everyone laugh, it's just like, I got you. That's it. Now you're in my zone. Now we're all vibing. We're at the same wavelength. If you laughed at that, guess what? Guess what's coming around the corner? 4 more things in that same with this, in that same bubble that's gonna keep you laughing and keep you on my side. So that's the best feeling, because then it's like boom, you're accepted. I connected. It's there. You just try to maintain that, because you could lose it. You could lose it in a second. So once you get that initial laugh, it's like fishing. Okay, boom, now I got them in. Now I just got to reel them in. Now reel them in until the very end I pull them out and catch them. This is a tough question. Is it hard to be funny? And do you have to put a lot of work in to be a stand-up comic? Yes. There's so many things you have to do. The number one thing is you have to always go on stage. Just like going to the gym. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you have to stay in the gym. You have to continue to work those muscles. Just like being a singer, you have to always sing and practice. The only way you're going to be a successful comic is if you go on stage all the time. Now, the flip side of that question is, the more you go on stage, the more you become comfortable and you become yourself. That's what I've noticed. So if you're a funny person and you go on stage, what's happening is you're chipping away at your guard constantly. You're becoming more comfortable with yourself, with your presence on stage. You're getting better at being yourself on stage, which is the key. Because once you find your voice, and once you know how to present yourself to the crowd the way you want, that's it. Now you got it. Because if you have that natural gift, you're gonna hit every time, and people are gonna feel comfortable because it resonates. Like, if you're on stage and you're nervous, everyone feels it. But maybe that's your thing. Maybe you're a nervous person. So there's those nervous comics out there. There's those weird, awkward comics out there where, you're watching me, you're like, this guy's weird, but then you get into their zone because they're being themselves. That's how do you start the show? How do you start when you get on stage? Your opener is what it's referred to. Your opening joke, or your opener can be the hardest thing. Both the ends, the opening and the closing, can be the most difficult parts. And it can be the easiest parts too, because sometimes maintaining what you start with is what's hard, or ending with that bang is what's hard. But what I try to do is I try to observe what happens 10 minutes before I've gotten on stage. Look at who's there, look at the people, hear what they were saying, hear what they react to. And then when I go on stage, kind of call out to something that immediately gets their attention. So I'm not like, so the other day I was at the doctor's office. I'm saying something right away that just happened, that's in the moment. I'm just trying to put everyone in that moment for us, for the 15 minutes I'm on stage. I want you to be in this moment with me. But then there's like legendary comedians like Steve Martin, who he said that he once said, who gives a fuck what Steve Martin says, but he said every word counts. He goes, the worst thing to do is, hey, how you doing? You just wasted 3 words. Hey, how you doing? Or maybe 4 words, whatever. But you know what I mean? He's like, you just wasted that. He goes, I hate when comics go on stage and the first thing they say is, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? It's like what every comic says. But it's a weird kind of just like automatic thing that people do. You're nervous, you're on stage, hey, how you doing? All right, everyone. But yeah, I don't believe that. I believe just get their attention. What am I going to do to get their attention? I'm going to talk about something that happened right now. I'm going to do something that gets them into the moment right now. So some comics like to go on stage and just press play. Like Steve Martin, just go right on stage. So the blue light was flashing in my face, and without even acknowledging the crowd, I like to acknowledge the people there. Hey, you guys are here. I'm here. I want to put you in my world right now for a little while. Do I think my family realizes how hard it is? Yes, I have a very supportive family. My mom is always there by my side. She's always had my back, and she's seen me through my ups and my downs, and she knows that it's tough. She's so great. She laughs at everything. But then I have friends of mine who, or people that think, fakes, it's not really a real job. You go on stage. Oh, how's your comedy thing doing? Oh, how you doing? How's your comedy life? Oh, how's that treating you? Good? Okay, yeah, So that answer is, I think the majority of people don't realize how difficult it is. But I think overall people don't realize how difficult it is. But you could say that with anything, like being a singer or being an actor. They just think you're talented, you could sing. Oh, you're talented, you could do stand-up comedy. Where it's like, no, I got the urge to, I got the bug to do it, but you got to put in the work. It's the only way you're gonna become successful. I've gotten advice from older comics to not overthink when it comes to the conclusion of a set. Like going on stage and it doesn't, and you don't do well and you're not happy. Don't beat yourself up. Don't drink your sorrows away. Don't, complain. Go back to the drawing board, listen to what you were doing and fix what was wrong. Realize that this is a process, that the only way you're going to get better is by bombing. If you're doing bad, that's great because guess what? You just went on stage and you did it. That's the best thing. You already check that off. You did it. You know what I mean? Don't beat yourself up. Okay, now what happened when you did it? You didn't do well. You bombed. This part wasn't funny. Why wasn't it funny? When you answer that question, then you go back and you go, okay, well if that wasn't funny, maybe I could fix this up. What was the crowd like? They were all younger kids. Maybe I need to make this more universal. Maybe I need to push this to the side and do something else. Older comics will tell me, older comics or people who are comfortable, people who have found their voice, they will tell you, listen, just do it. Just go on stage, do it, and don't beat yourself up if you don't do a good job. It's not, yeah. And then, yeah, I guess that's the best advice I ever got from anybody. You know what? One of the best things one of my peers ever told me was, don't admit that you did bad. He said, don't ever do that. One of the first guys to ever give me a paid gig, his name is Pat Dixon. It's Comedy Central specials, all that stuff. Great comic, awesome dude. He told me one time, I did bad at, somebody asked me to do a spot on a radio show, like a guest appearance, and I felt like I wasn't sharp. I felt like I was kind of dull. And when it was all finished, everyone's nice. Hey, great job, Fix. Thanks for having us, whatever. And I kept saying, yeah, that wasn't my best. I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. They were like, no, what are you talking about? I seemed a little off today. I'm so sorry. It was bad, whatever. He pulled me aside. He goes, listen. He goes, stop. Don't do that. He goes, do not admit that you were bad. He goes, they just booked you on this. They said you did a good job. Be confident. He goes, if you tell them that you felt like you were bad, they're not gonna put you on again. They're gonna be like, oh, this kid, he didn't do a good job or whatever. You're just telling them now that you didn't do a good job. You know what I mean? You're kind of admitting to them that you didn't feel good about it, instead of being confident about it. Confidence is key. Oh, this kid came, man, he was funny. He had confidence. We liked him. We're going to bring him, we're going to ask, we know we got Figs. We're going to tell him to come back. Instead of, oh, that kid, he was here. He kept talking about how bad he was. He couldn't stop talking about it, and man, maybe we'll get somebody else. Maybe he's not ready, So that was great advice. Don't admit that you did bad. What's the Bronx comedy scene like right now? You got Deezus and Mero who are kind of really holding it down. And it's not even comedy. Those guys they're everything. They're just two funny cats that are, being themselves. You know what I mean? They're comfortable. So they hit the peak because they don't give a fuck. They're being comfortable. They're relating with other people. They're bringing celebrities and bringing them to their level and and vibing with them and stuff. So that's a great look for the Bronx. I think that's awesome. In terms of like comedy like stand-up comedy wise, I think it's getting up there. I run a show on Arthur Avenue at the Bronx Beer Hall. Me and my boy have been doing shows there for a while now, and that always gets a good turnout. And I'm seeing other places pop up. Bronx Museum, I did a show at the Bronx Museum, and all these different venues. I think art in general is starting to blow up and get more. It's starting to kind of like to expand in the Bronx, and people are the community's getting stronger, and people are putting on more shows, and people are coming out and supporting each other. I feel like the support in the Bronx right now is strong. The millennial, I like Bronx millennials. I don't like other millennials, but I like the Bronx millennials. The Bronx millennials are cool, they mesh well with other waves, and they mesh well with other cliques and stuff. So I think that it's on the come up, the Bronx comedy scene for sure. I think that there's a lot of great venues where people are coming out to watch, and I think it's only a matter of time till there's a comedy club in the Bronx. That'll be really awesome. Comedy is on the rise right now. People say it's dead with PC culture and stuff, but it's on the rise, man. People, it's all over the place. Instagram, Facebook. I mean, and maybe it's kind of like Andrew Schultz. He's right now he's a master at it because he does YouTube videos that are 15 minutes long, or 5-minute clips and stuff, and people are watching that in there. And it's like the Rolling Stones. It's like having a single out that everyone's listening to. Instead, they're listening to that comedy, that bit that he talks about transgendered people, or that joke that he has about the MTA. And they're like, yo, did you hear Andrew Schultz shit? Oh yeah, man, it's on YouTube. And, boop, 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 boop. And it's spreading. So I think as comedy soars, it will soar in other places. And I think the Bronx is getting on to it for sure. Damn, would I like to own my own comedy club? I don't know, man. I've been in restaurants my entire life, and I know that behind the comedy club scene is a kitchen and a restaurant that you have to maintain, a bar that you have to maintain. So I have the experience, but I don't think I'd want to be in that position. It's enough producing your own shows and putting on 5 people and then hearing another 5 people go, why didn't you put me on your show, Mike? What happened, man? I thought we were friends. I'm like, we are friends. We were playing Magic the Gathering the other day. We are friends, man. Come on. But no, fuck you, Mike. You need to put me on your show. It's a headache. It's a lot of pressure. I don't think I'd want to put my own. I don't have enough. I'm getting nervous already thinking about it. No, I wouldn't want to do my own comedy club. But I like producing shows at dope venues that will take me in for sure. That's fun. Yeah. Would I want to teach comedy? I would want to do it, but I wouldn't want to get paid. I would do it for free, just in case it's not good. Just in case I don't, if I teach a comedy class and then the kids go, man, I'm doing horrible. I'm like, you didn't pay me. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah? All right. I gave you my best, kid. I told you what to do. I told you not. No one cares about your dead cat. I told you to talk about your big feet. You didn't listen. What do you want me to do? Yeah. So I would do it for free, but I wouldn't want to get paid for it. But yeah, I would totally do it. It would be fun. I like helping people, and I think I know what I'm talking about. But the truth is, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's the truth. The truth is, yeah. Future comics. What advice do I have for you? Keep making content. Don't stop. You're in your house and you think something's funny. You got that camera. We're at the age now where you can make a video in your bathroom, and if it resonates enough with people, with social media, with people in Alaska, it doesn't fucking matter, and it becomes a hit, boom, you just got your feet in the little puddle of internet fame or whatever. Keep making content, keep going on stage, try to devote an hour a day to write. I just started doing this, and I've seen my mind, the gears in my mind, I feel them getting tighter and stronger. Take an hour a day to write stuff down, like whether it's a diary entry or whatever, anything you were thinking about. Oh man, why don't giraffes? Do giraffes have breasts or whatever? Anything, I don't know, any weird thing, and don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Don't be like me. Don't be lazy. Yeah, that's my advice to the kids. A lot of comics are insecure kids, man. All insecure kids. I'm very confident. It's weird. It's right in the middle. It's like you're sociopath. You don't care what people care about, but you do care. You hide it. Being a comic is it's being an insecure person who's able to go on stage and relate to all the other insecure people. It's like being a leader of insecurities, Is
the stage like therapy for you?
Is a stage like therapy for me? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't find it therapeutic. It's more of a release. Maybe it's more
Like masturbation?
It's like masturbating. Getting on stage is like masturbating. No, it's not therapeutic. It's addictive, and I'm seeking that high of getting a positive recognition from strangers, of feeling liked from other people. That high is to me is great. If I could walk in a room, don't know anybody, make them laugh, they all like me, I leave, and then they're all like, man, you were great, it was funny, it was so nice meeting you. That was like, oh man, in 10 minutes I just made everyone like me. It feels good. So I want to say, people watching this gonna be like, this guy's an asshole. This guy just sounds like an asshole who wants people to like him. Is getting on stage therapeutic? Would you consider therapeutic as someone like a yearning for a high. That's not. Is it therapeutic kind of? So then maybe it is therapeutic. You know, I just feel like it's so cliche to say that if getting on stage is therapeutic. I don't find it therapeutic. I find it as something that I really want to do. I'm a nervous wreck the 5 minutes before I get on stage, and then when I get on stage and I get comfortable, it's the best feeling ever. And when you get off stage and when everyone's laughing at your jokes, there's nothing better than that. There's no better high than looking at those people's faces with just lit up smiling. And there's a complete opposite to that is getting on stage and bombing. And then you're like, oh shit. Maybe that's the therapeutic part, because that's when you realize this is real. This is wow. This is real. This is realism in full force. I'm eating shit right now. No one likes me. I'm a piece of shit. This is horrible. I gotta wake up and get to work. And then the next 3 days I won't drink. I'll work out and I'll feel good about myself. I'm only drinking when I'm doing well. When I'm doing well, I'm getting fat. I'm drinking. I'm having a good time. And then when I'm doing bad is when I'm like, gotta get back to work. Gotta put my head back to the pavement.
Fucking piano here. This is nice fucking puppet shows. This guy's gonna see a puppet show. Look at you, doll. I love you. Fucking New York and company from head to toe. God bless you, baby. Look at you trying to stay young. You got an Apple Watch. You don't even know how to fucking use it. God bless you, doll. You don't even know what the fuck you doing. Who gives a fuck? God bless you, doll. Yeah, it's all right. Baby, I got no health insurance. I've been wearing these contacts for 7 years. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Sometimes the wind blows and hits my eyes. I look like fucking Al Pacino instead of a woman. I'm just all fucked up. Look at all these four-eyed fucks. This is the row of four-eyed fucks. How many fucking glasses we got? You guys been doing TED Talks about produce? You fuck.
My definition of success is not having to ask my mom for money. That's a big one, you know? That means I'm successful. I don't gotta ask my mom, let me just get 40. Hey mom, can I get $40 real quick? Listen, I just don't want to overdraft. I'm gonna pay, I'm gonna get paid. Don't worry, Michael, don't worry about it. That would be a big, that's successful, not having to ask my mom for money. But all jokes aside, I just owning property, my definition of success. Oh man, like I don't know, because you're not supposed to care what other people think. You're not supposed to care what your peers think. But I guess we all do. It's just natural. You can't hide away from it. Success for me would be being financially secure and having the respect of my peers. Having the respect where they look up to me, where they can come up to me for help and stuff. Because I love helping other people. I love talking to people. Hearing people's problems. I love trying to give my input. I feel like I've been through enough where I kind of have an open mind and I like to look at other people's perspectives. And success for me would just be I don't want to have a giant mansion. I don't want to be in movies. I would just love to be able to do what I love and make sure my girl has a nice car and my boy has all the video game systems he wants so he can play his games. I think that having hobbies like playing Magic the Gathering or playing video games or playing football or whatever it is, I think that's one. It kind of turns your brain off for a second from whatever your work is. It's a good way to relax. For me, that's therapeutic. I like to play Magic the Gathering. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, but also, society is what makes you think that, oh, I'm 30, I shouldn't be playing it. But it's like, fuck you. You do whatever you want. That makes you feel good, do it. I don't care what you do. You know what I mean? You like to paint fucking nudes of Barbara Streisand. Like, I don't give a fuck. Do it, man. Yeah, you're a little weird, but it's fine. Do it. And yes, also, it could totally spark some sort of creative, moment where you go, shit, maybe I should fucking make a comedy show about, elves and whatever, And then you look at TV and it's like, yeah, there's a show, Disenchanted, fucking not Family Guy, Futurama, anything, and then you really smoke a little weed and you dive real deep into it, and you play Dungeons and Dragons, and you realize that that's where it all started. Dungeons and Dragons. From there, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, you know, any type of fantasy. It all started from kids. Yeah, it all started from kids playing that game and creating stories and campaigns and unifying together. And now what do you have? Now you have those RPGs, but now you have them on the internet. You could be there with your community all right here in your ear and your microphone playing fucking entering caves and dungeons and shit. I think that's a great way to unify people, you know, and I'm all about it, man. I've been doing it my whole life. I love RPGs. I love video games. I love card games. And I've just recently stumbled upon Magic the Gathering. Super late to the party. And my girlfriend's going to have to wait for that wedding ring because I've been spending all my cash on cards, man. If you're watching this, babe, I'm sorry.
A lot of you people are looking at me like, who's this fat drag queen on the stage? I'm not fat, I'm Jon Snow. And they killed me mother. They killed me father. They took my best friend's penis off. Because you don't have cars in Game of Thrones, so they just take away your penis. For anybody who's not familiar, make noise if you've never heard of the show. All right, just the ladies. Just the ladies. Too busy watching Two Dope Queens. Another great show on HBO. This is sponsored by HBO, by the way. Okay, I'm tired of making fake emails. HBO, please, give me a free membership.
This is bad. This is going to make the people go, ooh. What's my favorite, like, subway line, transportation line? This is going to make, everyone's going to go, oh, they're going to start throwing tomatoes. It's that Metro North, baby.
I knew it.
It's that Metro North, baby. There's always a seat. You could drink, okay? You could drink on it. There's always a seat. I'm comfortable. Leather seats. That's the best. You can't, you know. Second best is going to be the D train. I definitely have definitely a place in my heart that I'll always remember. I think I kissed the first girl I ever kissed was on the D train. And I think right after that, some guy was like, yo, you want some grapefruit snacks? And I just had to buy one just to seem cool. I was like, yeah, I'll take some grapefruit snacks. Let me take some of that, girl. But yeah, Metro North all day. I'm sorry. Nothing about it. It's expensive, but I'm in and out of Grand 17 minutes? What? Barely any delays. Can of Bud Light. Don't have to hide it. I'm sorry. Metro North all day. Conductors are nice. I'm friends with the conductors. They know me. Love that place. I just broke everyone's heart in the Bronx. Yankee Stadium? What? Take it one stop into. I don't have to go past this. You know, all the cops all over the place bumping into people. Take the green line right to 161. Just walk. It's like I feel like I'm in an airport walking to Yankee Stadium. Go Yankees. Love that. I love the Metro North, man. I could talk about it all day. What else do I love about the Metro North? No urine. They no urine. Never seen urine on the Metro North. No one peeing on the Metro North. We got bathrooms in that motherfucker. There's bathrooms in the Metro North. Any bathrooms on the D train? Yeah, the seat you're on, that's the bathroom. You're sitting on the bathroom on the D train. Guess what? You're sitting on piss, bro. Put me on that Metro North. Sorry. D train gets to second place. I always love the D train. Hate the 2 train. Hate the 4 train. 6 trains, all right. Metro North all day. I gotta get the hell out of here, Greg. I gotta go. No, that'll be a good way to end it. Just like Metro North. My name is Mike Figs. I'm a stand-up comic. You can follow me on Instagram at @ComicMikeFigs. Also at Twitter @ComicMikeFigs. And if you look up Mike Figs on Facebook, you see an idiot with a microphone. It's most likely gonna be me.